Hey sis, welcome to the other side of dreams. This is the heart to heart space for empty nest women, OFW, and immigrant women, and every woman over 50 who has spent her whole life giving, caring, and carrying everyone else. If you feel unseen, unappreciated, or unsure who you are in this season, you're in the right place. Before we begin, just settle in with me for a moment. You're safe here. You're allowed to pause. Every week, we talk about healing, identity purpose, emotional wounds, marriage struggles, midlife transition, and finding yourself again. And sis, we go beyond healing because I also guide you to rise, to rebuild your confidence, explore your purpose, and create income in ways that feel simple, meaningful, and possible at any age. So, wherever you are, abroad, at home, at work, or alone in your room, be here with me for a moment. You don't have to walk this season alone. We'll navigate it together, one honest conversation at a time. Disclaimer: this podcast is created for your inspiration, reflection, and empowerment. Yes, I am a certified and professional life coach, but I am also a woman, a mother, a grandmother, and an empty nester who's finding her own ways too. Everything I share here comes from my personal journey, my experiences, and the lessons life taught me the hard way. I'm not here as an expert on a pedestal. I'm here as a friend who understands the weight you carry. Nothing in this podcast replaces therapy, counseling, or professional mental health support. If you feel you need deeper help, please reach out to a licensed professional. You deserve proper care. This space is simply a place where we heal together, grow together, and remind each other that it's never too late to rediscover your passion, your purpose, and yourself. If I can find my way back to my dreams, my friend, so you can. Hey sis, thank you for joining me today. This episode is close to my heart and close to the heart of so many women who sacrificed years of their lives for their families. Today, we're talking about something powerful, emotional, and often hidden: the untold emotional story of the OFW mothers. If that's you or someone you love, you're in the right place. Let's start with something that many OFW mother never say out loud. We left because we loved. But before we go deeper, let me share a real story many OFW mothers carry in their hearts. I remember one OFW mother telling me something I will never forget. She said, "On the day of my flight, my youngest child was only 3. He hugged my leg so tight and I couldn't move. And when the immigration officers took my passport, it felt like they also took a piece of my heart. I walked away without looking back because I knew if I did, I would run back home." For the next 3 years, she lived with that same memory replaying in her mind every night before sleep. That kind of goodbye leaves a mark. It changes you in a way only OFW mothers understand. And that's where it begins. But something felt different inside us. You know that moment When you were packing your suitcase the first time, folding your clothes slowly, and you felt your heart physically hurting. But you said nothing because you had to be strong. What people often don't understand is that OFW mothers carry two lives at once, the life back home and the life abroad. Two identities, two responsibilities, two emotional worlds. And somewhere between airports, video calls, and remittances, many women suddenly realize, I don't know where I belong anymore. Let's explore why this happened emotionally, psychologically, and scientifically. And this leads us to something important, the science behind why OFW mothers experience emotional fragmentation. Psychologists call it role strain. When a person holds two major identities that constantly pull against each other, research in the Journal of Cross-Cultural Psychology shows that migrant workers, especially women, experience identity shifting, emotional displacement, persistent guilt, and chronic loneliness. Your brain literally adapts to survival mode in a new country while attaching emotionally to family back home. It's like living in a two universe. Why does it hurt so deep? Emotional dissonance. Your action and feelings don't match. You're working hard, but you feel like you're not there enough. Let me tell you a real story that perfectly shows this. A Filipino caregiver in Italy once opened up to me, and what she said stayed with me for years. She shared, every morning, I wake up before the sunrise. I quietly walk through the hallways of the house where I work, making sure not to wake the children. I boil water for their hot chocolate, fry their eggs just the way they like them, and cut their fruits into tiny pieces so they'll actually eat them. By the time they sit at the table, their clothes are ironed, their backpacks are ready, and their lunch boxes are packed with love, even if they're not my own kids. And she paused for a long moment before continuing. I help them with their homework. I kiss their foreheads when they cry. I remind them to wear jackets when it's cold. I mother them because that is the job I was hired to do. Then her voice changed, softer and heavier. But my own children only see me on the screen. When I video call, sometimes they don't even stop playing, and sometimes they forget to tell me about their days because they're used to doing everything without me. And I don't blame them. I left them, even if I left for them. She wiped her eyes and said something I will never forget. Some days, I tuck someone else's child into bed while mine cry themselves to sleep on the other side of the world. In Italy, I feel like a mother. Back home, I feel like a stranger trying to earn her place again. Then she smiled, a tired smile. I live two lives, a mother in one country and a provider in another. And every night, I pray that one day those two lives will finally become one again. Mirror neurons and guilt. Neuroscience shows mothers feel distress when they imagine their children's emotions. Even if you're abroad, your brain reacts as if you're physically with them. That's why guilt hits so hard. Attachment disruption. Study shows children and mothers build micro connections. Daily touch, eye contact, presence. When that suddenly breaks, both mother and child feel emotional withdrawal. This isn't weakness. This is biology. This is love in the nervous system. But let's go deeper because the pain doesn't stop at leaving. It continues when we finally come home. This is the part people don't understand. Coming home is supposed to feel like joy. But many OFW mothers experience something very different. Here's a true to life story that so many OFW mothers know too well. She had been away for 3 years. She had been counting the days. Every night, after her ship abroad, she imagined the moment she'd come home. The airport doors opening, her daughters running to her, that tight hug she held into whenever loneliness felt heavy. After years of missed birthdays and missed mornings, finally, she was going home. She arrived with two balikbayan boxes. She arrived with two balikbayan boxes full of pasalubong, chocolates, clothes, little things she hoped would make her daughter smile. When she entered the house, she called softly, "Anak, si Mama andito na." Her teenage daughter came out of her room, taller now and more grown. The mother opened her arms, ready for the hug she dreamed of. Her daughter hugged her back, but it was quick, a little stiff, and a little unsure. It's not a rejection, just unfamiliar. Children grow even when a mother isn't there to see it. That night, when everyone was asleep, the mother went to the bathroom and let a few quiet tears fall. And she whispered, "I imagined that hug 1,000 times, but the real one felt different. It hurt just a little." But she wiped her tears and reminded herself she just needs time. I can rebuild this. I didn't come home just to give up. And in her heart, she made a promise to reconnect slowly, gently, one day, one conversation, and one hug at a time. The awkwardness, the disconnection, and the feeling like a visitor in their own home, and children who grew up without them, a partner who changed, and a house that feels familiar but not yours anymore. There's a psychological term for this: reverse culture shock. You expect comfort, but instead you feel out of place. And the most painful part, your children adjusted to life without you. Not because they didn't love you, but because they had to survive the distance too. So, how do we begin to heal this? Let's look at the emotional truth beneath the surface. Before we continue, here's another quiet truth many OFW mothers carry. Here's a real story. A Filipina in Hong Kong once said, "People think OFW are strong, but the strongest part of me was the part that broke in silence. Every time my child called me tita instead of mama, I felt a part of me die. But I didn't tell anyone. I just sent more money, hoping it would make me feel like a mother again." Here are the truths many OFW women hold silently. I miss tears I can never get back. Sometimes I feel like a stranger in my own family. People only see the money I send, not the piece of myself I lost. I left to give them a better life, but I ended up losing mine. These thoughts are not selfish, they're human, and the emotional weight is real. According to a 2020 study on OFW mental health, many OFW mothers experience this suppressed grief, lingering sadness, emotional numbness, the feeling of always being between lives. Not because they regret leaving, but because love was stretched too far. But here is the hope, the surprising beauty of the OFW mother's journey. OFW mothers develop emotional skills most people will never understand. Emotional resilience, unmatched sacrifice, global adaptability, courage under pressure, and deep empathy, and the ability to rebuild over and over and over again. Your journey shaped you in a ways that deserve to be honored, not hidden. You are not less of a mother. You are a mother who carried mountains. And now, let's move into a gentle reflection moment. One more soft truth. I always forgive everyone, my employers, my relatives, my children, my husband, but I never forgave myself. Then one day, I looked in the mirror and said, I carried my family with love, and that's counts. And maybe, sis, you have your own version of that moment, your own quiet version with yourself, your own small forgiveness, your own quiet conversation with yourself, your own small forgiveness. So, as we enter this reflection together, I want you to soften your heart for a moment. Wherever you are, take a moment to settle. Place your attention softly inwards and say quietly, I did my best with the life I had. I gave from love, not from fear. I am allowed to come home to myself too. I am still worthy of softness. I am still worthy of connection. I am still worthy of being seen. Before we end today's conversation, I want to leave you with the final message. Thank you for being here today, friend. If you are an OFW mothers or were one, your story matters. Your pain is real. Your love is real. And nothing you sacrificed was wasted. In our next episode, we dive into why women feel invisible after 50. And trust me, you're going to feel understood in a ways you didn't expect. Take a moment to settle and know that you are deeply appreciated. Before we close, I want to leave you with this question. What part of you has been waiting for permission to begin again? You don't need the full answer today. Just notice what comes up. Sit with it. Pray on it. Write it down if you can. And remember, these seasons of your life isn't an ending. It might be an invitation. Thank you for being here, for listening, for choosing yourself today. If this space has been a blessing to you, you can help support it by sharing this episode or leaving a review. Sometimes, God uses simple acts like sharing a message to reach someone who's been quietly praying for it. Thank you for being part of this mission.